Okay, good morning, students. Welcome back to magnetostatics. So this is our module 4, and last class, we talked about motion of charged particle in combined electric and magnetic field. Okay, so our particle was moving initially at rest, and we put the particle in a combined electric and magnetic field. And at the beginning, the particle accelerated towards the z-axis, that is along the electric field. So this motion built up a Lorentz force. Consequently, particle tends to move in a circular path. So due to this, again we found that there is a repulsive electric field acting on it. So resultantly, particle stopped at a point A. Then again this motion repeated, and we called it as what is called a cyclic motion. Okay, so and we got certain equations for velocity, and we simply predicted that, we casually predicted that the motion will be cycloid. And we had a question like this: what is the equation of a cycloid, general mathematical equation of a cycloid? And this is given here. Okay, x is equal to r theta minus sin theta, and y is equal to r1 minus cos theta. This is the general mathematical equation, and this is called a parametric equation, where x and y are 2 points on a plane. Okay, so plane can be of x, y. So this is equation shows how x and y are related with the theta. Theta is the parameter, and we call it a parametric equation. And the resulting cycloidal motion is shown in the animation. And basically, cycloid is a curve generated by a point on the circumference of a circle that rolls along a straight line. Okay, so in the figure you can see this is the point. So that point is in fact moving, rotating as well as moving. So the motion of that point, any point on a circle, so that point should be rotating as well as moving. Okay, so then it traces out a cycloidal path. Okay, that is what is given here. So what we have to do is, here we will also show that our particle is also moving in a cycloidal path. Already we have got its velocities, x component, y component, and z component. So particle was initially placed here, and we found that there is no x velocity, vx is equal to 0, and we found there is a y velocity, vy, that is equal to e by b minus a cos omega t plus phi, and there is also a z velocity, vz, that is a sin omega t plus phi. And we have not yet shown that it is a cycloid path. Okay, we have to show it. So let us see how this is shown, how we will prove that it is a cycloidal motion. From this equation, we cannot conclude that it is a cycloidal motion, but by getting the values of x, y, and z, we can prove that it is a cycloidal motion. It is a cycloidal motion. Let us see how this is done. Initially, we have x is equal to vx is equal to 0, and vy is equal to e by b minus a cos omega t plus phi, and vz is equal to a sin omega t plus phi. Okay. And if you apply the initial conditions, that is usually done in differential equation, apply the boundary conditions or the beginning conditions. At here, beginning conditions are time is equal to 0 at the beginning point. At that point, velocity vy will be 0, velocity vz will be 0, because particle is at rest. So if you apply these conditions here, what will we get? This is already 0, vx is already 0, so no question about it. But vy will become e by b minus a cos omega t is equal to 0, so cos omega 0 plus phi. So then what happens? So this will be 1, because cos omega 0 is 0. So we will have a phi is okay. So we have on the left hand side we have y is equal to 0. So what happens? this will lead us to the conclusion that A is equal to E by B. Okay, A is equal to B by E by B. And similarly, because phi is equal to 0, we have already got. So what happens next? Again we have Vz is equal to A sin omega t plus 1. So Vz is 0. So by replacing t is equal to 0, what we get? Phi is equal to 0. Okay, so we can also do in the reverse way. First you do for Vz, then you do for Vy. Okay, so this is obviously showing phi is equal to 0. Okay, so we got the values of both A and B. Okay, A and B. Then we can rewrite our previous equations. We are Vx, Vy, Vz like this. Okay, now Vy is equal to E by B minus E by B cos omega t, and Vz equal to E by B sin omega t. So we got all equations Vx, Vy, Vz, and including the amplitudes and phi. Okay, both values. So now let us start to find x, y, and z. Okay, so we have velocities. Now we will find corresponding positions, and we know Vx is equal to 0 means dx by dt is equal to 0. So that means x is equal to 0. It simply means that there is no motion of the particle along the x direction. So this is very clear. What about Vy? This is already given, and so what will be velocity is Vy. So while corresponding Vy, we can write dy by dt is equal to E by B minus E by B cos omega t. Okay. Similarly, what about Vz? Vz is equal to this one. So corresponding dz by dt, you can write as E by B sin omega t. So from these equations, these three equations, we can find the corresponding x, y, and z. So let us see that. First is starting with y, because x is already 0. So y will be dy by dt is equal to this one. So you can find the corresponding y. So you know it in differential equation. So for that, simply integrate this equation. So we'll have y is equal to E by B minus E by B cos omega t dt. Okay, so we will get the y. So let us see how it is put. First integrate E by B dt. Okay, that will be E by B t minus E by B cos omega t dt. You can separately integrate. I am not showing it here. Still you can do one by one. First is this one, E by B dt. Then next integrate E by B cos omega t dt. Of course, integral sin omega t is integral cos omega t is sin omega t by omega plus some arbitrary constant. Again, you can apply limits, boundary condition at the time t is equal to 0. At the beginning, particle is at the origin, so C1 should be 0. Okay, so if you apply it, what happens? You will get y is equal to E by B t minus E by B omega, because when this is 0, so naturally this equation become E by B t minus E by B omega sin omega t. So we got the value of y. Okay, how take the E by B outside? So you can write this equation in a symbol format like this. So we got y is equal to E by B omega omega t minus sin omega t. Similarly, for z also you have Vz like this. So you can write the corresponding dz by dt is equal to E by B sin omega t. So naturally, by integrating this equation, what we get is z is equal to integral E by B sin omega t dt. So here you have to integrate only sin omega t, because again we are constant. So we have E by B minus cos omega t by omega plus C2. Okay, again you can find the C2 value by applying the initial conditions. At the initial condition, time is equal to 0 and x, y, z is equal to 0. So what happens? Z is equal to 0 is equal to E by B minus cos omega t. Omega t is equal to 0 plus E2. So that will give you C2 is equal to E by B omega. Simple algebra will show you that C2 is equal to E by B or E. You please practice it by writing in notebook. Okay, so a simple visual reading will not be effective. So write down in your notebook all these steps and convince yourself. Okay, so we have the C2 here. So applying C2 here, okay, you can apply here. Instead of C2, you place this value E by B omega. So you can Z is equal to E by B minus cos omega t by omega plus E by B omega. Okay, just rearrange it. You have E by B omega, you can rearrange outside. So you will get a compact, a beautiful equation. Z is equal to E by B omega into 1 minus cos omega t. Okay, so let us compile all the equations. X is equal to 0, Y is equal to E by B omega, omega t minus sin omega t, and Z is equal to E by B omega 1 minus cos omega t. Here we are making some slight modification. Let us place omega is equal to E by R omega, RB. We have already written this in cyclotron equation in one of the previous module. So now we can rearrange it for E by B omega. We have a E by B omega here. We are placing it as R. Okay, this is the radius of the path. You can say radius of that cycloid path. For your understanding, I am saying this is the radius of the cycloidal path. So then we can write this equation like this: phi of t is equal to R omega t minus sin omega t, and Z of t is equal to R1 minus cos omega t. So we got a Y and Z in a compact form. So you have now first one, Y is equal to R omega t minus sin omega t. So take the R omega t on the left hand side and square it. So when you square it, this equation, you get Y minus R omega t all square is equal to R square sin square omega t. If you take Z similar way, take the R part to the left hand side, you will have Z minus R square is equal to R square cos omega t. Okay, so now you combine both these equations, this one and this one. What we get? Y minus R omega t all square plus Z minus R all square is equal to R square. On the right hand side you have R square into sin square omega t plus cos square omega t. So obviously you know sin square omega t plus cos square omega t is 1. So resultant we get an equation. So now you can attribute some comparison with the equation you studied in analytic geometry about circles. Okay, where we studied circle's equation is x minus a all square plus y minus b all square is equal to r square, and a and b we called as the center of the circle. Okay, AB. A similar format you get, but instead of a and b you have here r omega t for a and r here, and r omega t simply shows that is the center point. Okay, the coordinate of the center of the circle. But the interesting thing is that there is a t function. That means the center is moving. Okay, its point is moving with respect to time. T indicates that center is not fixed. Instead, center is moving. So we say that this is the equation of a circle of radius r, whose center is indicated with 0 for x, r omega t r, which is moving along the y-axis. Okay, the y component. So it is moving along the y-axis with a velocity omega t. Because r theta, omega t is equal to b is equal to. So that is what is given here. Okay, you can call it a velocity. So now let's see another thing. Let us again this equation, same equation. So what is actually implied by the equation, that you have a center in the y plane along the y axis. That point is actually moving. That is what it shows. Okay, it is moving. This r omega t indicates that the center point is moving along the y direction. Okay, so it is not a static equation, it is a dynamic equation where one of the center point is moving, the y coordinate is moving, but the z value is remaining same. You can see this value is remaining same, whereas y value, that is distance from the y, is varying with time. Okay, so that is the equation of a cycloid. Okay, so here the particle moves, you can conclude that here the particle moves as if it is a spot on the rim of a wheel of radius r rolling along the y-axis with a speed. So such curves are called cycloidal curves. Okay, cycloidal curve. So only condition is that particle should be, and you can see here particle is neither moving along the electric field direction nor along the magnetic field direction. Instead, it is moving in a completely perpendicular direction to both E and B. Okay, so it is one of the important things. So we can conclude that this conclusion is enough. From your exam point of view, this much is enough. Once you show that the coordinates of the charged particle is like this, it is enough. Okay, then it simply shows that when particle is placed in a mutually perpendicular electric and magnetic field, particle tends to move in a cycloidal path. And this is the equation we already wrote at the beginning, standard mathematical equation for a cycloid, and this is very similar to that. Okay, very similar to that. So we can okay, or you will see from here also. This one also shows you the same thing. Okay. Y minus R omega t. This was very similar to the equation we showed at the beginning. Okay, y is a parametric equation. In the beginning, we had a parametric equation that x and theta and y and theta. Here instead of that, y and time, z and time. Same parametric equation, very similar format. Instead of theta, time is coming here. That implies that it is changing with respect to t. That means t is taken along the horizontal direction. So, and it's a dynamical equation. It shows particle is moving in a cycloidal path continuously up to the point where mutual electric and magnetic field exist. Okay. So that is what this graphics also shows you. Now comes the assignment part. It's a very simple question here. You can see an electric field of strength 2000 Newton per Coulomb is directed to the east at a place on Earth. A proton is traveling towards the ground at a speed of 30,000 meters per second. Earth's magnetic flux density at that place is towards south. What is the magnitude and direction of the force on the proton? Describe the path of the proton. Okay, you can take magnetic flux density from the textbook or from any data book, logarithmic table like that, and of course you can neglect the gravitational effect. So just getting a visual impression, we have picturized this problem here. You have to necessarily do this problem in the assignment, but still some hints are given here. This is the Earth, and you have a proton coming towards the Earth. Okay, it is shown here, and electric field is directed towards the east. Okay, it's not upward, it is towards east, and this is southwards magnetic flux density. Up to this much you have it is shown here. Okay, these are certain hints given to you to do the problem. You have to analyze it thoroughly before doing it. Then find both the direction and magnitude. Magnitude is also important. Magnitude you have to specify along which direction, whether it is north, south, or east, or west. Okay, so do it after complete analysis. Submit it as an assignment. Or you are given another choice. Here a particle with mass m and charge q start from rest at the origin as shown in the figure. There is uniform electric field in the y direction and uniform magnetic field directed out of the screen. Just the theory we studied. Path of the particle is cycloidal. So you have to explain why the path is having this general shape. Reasons also we described in the class throughout the lecture. Same ideas, same points you can use to write it. So either you do the previous problem or you write the description of this phenomena. Okay, all the physics you have to write. Okay, step by step, starting from the beginning when charge is placed at the origin till the next loop is repeated. What are happening at the different points and why this is happening. Only qualitative explanation is required, no mathematical equations. You can try both. At least one of the question you have to attempt. It is your freedom. If you write both, well and good. But at least one is important. So properly do it and submit as an assignment. Okay. Of that you have enjoyed this session. Thank you all of you. Thank you.